Hey guys, just a real quick update and a special thank you. I am still curbside in Minnesota and still just kind of getting everything ready. Currently, there's just a couple minor things that I'm looking for, like the right generator. That's, I guess, not that minor. It's actually kind of expensive. Looking at the difference between an inverter model and just a standard gasoline. Um, Still kind of undecided. And then just some of the other stuff, just your basic living stuff, your uh, lightweight everything, organizers and that sort of thing. And then, not to mention, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. So I kind of had my heart set on making it through Thanksgiving and then hitting the road. Um, we'll see. Well, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go. It's going to either be right after Thanksgiving or somewhere between November 1st and Thanksgiving, most like, or middle of November to end of November, most likely. Um, so getting on to, first let's go into the inspiration. What inspired me to do some of this? Uh, I'll start with who. Besides myself and a long desire to just do something like this, it was mostly the people like SLR, CRC, David Robert, come on, Drew, uh, Lindsay, and then you've got Tim, Three Mississippi, Tim, from Ridge Life, and his 32 channels, which I love every single one of them. And then Sid and Mike, and all of the kids. And I'm not going to name any of the names. I know that you guys, most of you guys, watch all of those. Those are your homesteading channels that I really get into. But they really inspired me. These people, all of them have one thing in common. They all said they're going to live their life on their terms, legally, those sort of things. Maybe not a social norm, but what is a social norm? Is it just because one person starts something and then two, three, four, five people, and then all of a sudden you've got, a community of normal? I don't know. I think we should all start looking at some of these things a slightly different way, not in an irresponsible way. You still have life to deal with. You got children to raise. You've got, you need to eat food and those sort of things. But does it always need to be a traditional, 9 to 5? No, not at all. That's the attitude that needs to just go away. And I do think that the younger generation is really grabbing a hold of that, and I love it. So I do find that very inspirational. All right, so now let's get into some of what brought this on. For me, it got down to, I just got out, some of you guys don't know this, some of you do. I just got out of the VA hospital, I think about 2 weeks ago. And what it was I had no magnesium or potassium. I did not have even the minimum what your body requires. And this has all been, there's a long time coming. There was a lot more to it, like pancreatitis. And I'm not that old. But I'll tell you what kind of kicked it off. And it's going to sound weird, but this whole COVID crap, it made people too sedentary, just kind of, for me, for sure. And that worked against me in all areas, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of them. Like, I used to be able to run 12 miles in a straight shot every single day, ever since I got out of the military. Then I let myself go during this, and it went fast, guys. It went really fast with big scares in there, big health scares. This last time I went in, it was basically it was just nausea and it was frustration, and I had zero energy. I just knew something was wrong, and I had gone in there for the same thing about a year ago, and they couldn't see anything. This time around, they did give me the upper GI, which I was really happy about that. It was more thorough. But again, they didn't find a whole lot. All they know is that my potassium and my magnesium were, they weren't non-existent. I think you'd probably be dead if that were the case. But I know for potassium, your bare minimum is like a 2.5. They actually kind of got me up, well, they did. They got me up to a 2.6, and then I was able to release myself the next day. But dealing with this sort of stuff for a solid year, or no, more than that, I'd say a couple years. And this is pretty much why I don't drink anymore too. My stomach can't handle it. It just doesn't. It does not like it. And I don't like that whole just bleh. Nope. Anyhow, so back to the inspiration. All of you guys, there's so many people who are just so inspiring to just live your life on your terms and how you want to do it. And I can tell you guys this firsthand, and I never thought I'd say this before, because maybe some of it is actually BS, but this is the first time in my life I felt like money doesn't mean much. It doesn't. It definitely doesn't. You can have all the blessings in the world at your feet, but if you're not physically healthy, if you're not physically healthy, you're probably not going to be around long enough to enjoy those blessings, or maybe at all. For me, if I feel like I'm spiritually broken or spiritually bankrupt, I'll feel that too, and I'll kind of hide away, and then that starts messing with you mentally and physically. Because once you get into that stink hole, you have to pull yourself out somehow. You got to maybe even just be honest with yourself or your family or friends, or if you got a therapist or whatever. But take it real. Take it real, and just do it for you. Just go on, just bust it out. Do it. What do we have to lose? I don't think they're going to take my birthday away. You remember that saying, Tim and oh well, I'll say Tim and Mike, and then any other veterans that are out there. We used to have this joke about, it's kind of embrace the suck sort of thing. That's exactly really what it is embrace the suck. But what we used to always say is, no matter how bad it gets, they can't take away your birthday. Well, that's bullshit too, because we were crossing the international date line, the east to west, and they took my buddy's birthday away, and something like that, or maybe it was going west to east, and then they skipped it, and then we ended up with like 2 Halloweens, and I don't know. Oh yeah, and they also did it on some extreme sea training too. So we were getting our butts whooped. It was supposed to be like a Tuesday. Well, when they scheduled one on Tuesday, they did it on purpose because there was 2 Tuesdays. So that's a good time. I don't even know, squirrel moment. Anyhow, thanks guys for everything. I am going to keep posting. I apologize that they're a little bit slow right now, but that will get better. So for me, just ultimately, real quick, what made me really do this was just being real about myself and my life, and just not that I was really terribly unhappy. I was just unhealthy. That's what it was. Is I was unhealthy, and it means a lot to it means a lot to go through that. I think to face it. I had one nurse that she even mentioned something that was alluding to mental health, and I kind of took exception to it because I was like, Doc, you don't even really know me, and you're in the hospital, you're not feeling good, and probably crabby, and yeah, I love nurses. I think they're the hardest working people on the planet. I do. You go into any hospital, you just take a look at the ones running around. I mean, they're running around, and believe you me, they're not. It's not just a moment in that person's day. They're probably pulling a 12-hour, 16-hour day, and hustling like that. And then you get the doctor shuffle, and the nurses running around and trying to get everything done. But yeah, love up them nurses and them doctors, and be open-minded, listen to what they had to say, be honest, and take a measured approach. I like measured approaches, and I like to put stuff to paper. I always tell my son, anything, it's like if you're going to plan to act on something, a project at the house, whatever, if I don't put it to paper, it tends to just not happen. So in this case, I put pen to paper, look at all my finances, and I'm like, look, I could do what I want to do with this without barely an income beyond this and survive after I get done with a couple certain bills. that's really what I wanted to do, is just have that freedom to, if I pull up somewhere, I could look for a job if I need one, or do that trailer camping. I've been looking at, or I'm sorry, they call that work camp. Work camps, WORKAMP work camp, and I guess it's been a thing since the early to mid '90s that where people hire. It could even be at one of the campsites. Oil drillers and stuff like that all over Texas. They hire them, and they specifically camper work, and that's because you just pull your camper up there and you work. They typically will give you the hookups for free. I'm going to pay you on top of it. And I know that the oil rig guard positions, they pay pretty well. I've got the military experience and the gun handling experience. I probably just need to grab the license from down there in Texas. But for starters, I'm going to probably end up heading straight to Yuma. It's going to be either the LTVA or a buddy of mine has a spot in Yuma. And that's probably going to be sometime between November 1st and December 1st. I don't want to really I don't want to pin a date down. I'll say this, though. I need to be out of Minnesota before it hits that magic 0. Otherwise, I'll be freezing. All right, y'all. So again, David, Mel Gary, Anthony Rocks, Drew Lindsay, Mike Sid, and all the kids, you guys, thank you so much for all of that inspiration. You guys probably inspire a lot of people. All right, and see you soon.